In our world today, nearly 95% of people going to gym every day, here and then, are focusing on stretching the muscles of their body, getting more physically attractive and even looking much more vigorous, masculine, and muscular, which is pretty much a good thing. However, I'm just only seeing few people, like handpicked people, who are willing to exercise their mind and subconscious muscle. It sounds strange, right? It's also exercising their self-determination and willpower and will muscle, their adaptability and a lot of different diverse perspective. I'm actually saying this because this is where things fail most of the times. It might sound a little bit crazy, but if you look at it critically, 98% of people you met across a diverse race, different ethnicity, religion, judge everything nearly based on first impression and jump into conclusion by simple face value. And this is where things fall apart. They see things, nearly everything in a single form. When you see things, nearly everything in a single form, then you will start having disbelief on yourself. You start having that doubt of your own capability. I believe that there is a reason why you create thousands of excuses why you are not qualified or fit to do what you see many people do. There are millions of excuses that are lying right there inside your heart why you have used to cage your own self, that you are not qualified to do this, you are not fit to do this, you cannot do this. However, if you begin to see things the way they are from the grand slam, you will start to understand that things aren't so complicated or complex as it seems. Take for instance, when you look at car as a whole, it is a whole complex technology. But if you start to look at them, tear things apart one after the other, you understand that it is actually easy to understand. And when you get to look at things in that perspective, you will understand that you are not so far from those you so much believe in. Because I'm actually starting with this because a lot of you guys who have it right there, believing in yourself, who have so much disbelief and self-doubt, you believe in someone so much more than you believe in yourself. And when you see that person, you perceive that person like as if he's a god, and you create more doubt inside your heart. And most of you actually also go to the extent of, since this guy has failed, since Mr. B has failed, since Mr. C has failed, down to Z, if I go, I will fail. It will shock you a little bit for you to know that things actually don't work completely that way, because we are all wired differently. We are all unique in our different and diverse ways that different from every other person. I'm going to prove it to you while we go on in this video so you stop doubting yourself. The greatest gift you can give to yourself is not car, is not home, it's not anything material, perishable things. It is actually believing in yourself. It is actually believing in your potential to do something, to stand out of the rest. Imagine if every other person in the world right now don't believe in themselves and they're pointing at the other person. Nothing is going to get done in this world, sweetheart. You are a unique individual with a different potential that, in fact, you're more capable than you can ever imagine. And I'm going to prove it to you that you are a unique person and you are a miraculous and a supernatural being. Aside that, you are God's. The Bible makes statement like that you are the God for other people. A spirit being existing in physical forms and flesh. You are created by God and you have likeness of Him. Do you know what it means? Whatever a snake gave birth to have a tail. What I'm trying to tell you here is that if you are created by God, you are having capability of God to create things, to alter the nature, to alter cause of things. And you cannot do all this without believing in yourself. That is why believing in yourself is the ultimate gift and tool you can ever equip yourself. You can never do anything in this world without you believing in yourself if you keep doubting yourself. And I must remind you that the more you doubt, the more you create a problem. The more you doubt your own self, the more you wreak havoc about your own future and your own self. So you are holding your own life with your own hands, with your own thoughts, with your own wrong perception about yourself. Even though if someone has actually criticized you that you are not good enough, you are going to repel that word to him, deflect that word to him, and tell him or her that He doesn't know whom you are. And sweetheart, who knows you better than you know yourself? In this whole world full of billions of people, you are a unique individual. You are miraculously made. Out of millions of semen that went into fertilization, you are the sole survivor at that very moment. So your coming into existence of this world, your coming into this world you are a miracle. You are a champion from the womb before even coming into this world. So why would you let those who came in the same way and some who you don't even know how they came in come to define whom you are to yourself? I believe that this whole self-doubt and in fact not going to even give yourself a chance to shoot your shot started from somewhere. Maybe you're being rejected by a girl, or maybe a guy rejected you, or maybe you didn't do well in your grade school, or somewhere along the line, maybe your mom, maybe your dad, maybe your secular friend, someone just bullied you somehow and you just flip everything on yourself. I want you to say to you this night, this moment, stop crucifying yourself, stop doubting yourself, stop punishing yourself, stop demeaning in your own self. Because the more you do this, you're not getting better, you're killing yourself. I want you to understand that the most grievous illness, the most grievous disease anyone can ever have in this world starts from a simple thought. It can begin with self-doubt. It can begin with low self-esteem. It can begin with you feeling that you don't belong here. I want you to have it written down there in your heart today that no one has the right to live in the most freest way in this world better than you. Nobody deserves a better lifestyle than you. We all are created equal, and how we vibrate on certain things determine how we're gonna end. So if you desire something so much, you don't need to kill yourself. You don't start killing yourself from the inside with doubts, doubting yourself, crucifying yourself, and saying all manner of negative things. Stop. Just stop. Begin today to start making a positive affirmation to yourself that you are a qualified person. You are all the beauty in the whole world. You are the most beautiful girl in the whole world. You are the most handsome guy in the whole world. You are the most courageous girl in the whole world. You are the most bravest guy in the whole world. You have to say this to yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell it to your own face. Who will better motivate you than your own self, whom knows your own self better than anyone else? Sweetheart, apparently nobody knows whom you are better than you know yourself. So no one can ever motivate you the way you will ever motivate yourself. So start today to motivate yourself, to tell yourself that you are capable, you are a conqueror, you are a champion, that you are even before coming into this world, even before getting giving birth. Now, I talked about you being unique. If you don't believe it, if you still believe somehow maybe that the maps in your hand is somehow the same with every other person, I want you to go ahead and practice what I'm going to tell you right now. This is a typical example of what makes you unique individual from every other person. Even though if you're a triplet or twin, you are not the same. So for the fact that your twin decided that you want to go down that lane doesn't mean that she or he have to drag you along. You can cut off and decide your fate today when you stop doubting yourself and start chiseling a new belief into yourself. You're going to be wearing a shiny armor, a new armor of belief that will activate a certain power in the spiritual dimension that will change your reality if you believe. So you have to start believing in yourself today. I want you to pick up a phone, go into a store, pick up 2 smartphones. If suppose you have money. If you don't have money, don't buy the latest phone, just get an old phone. Then 2 exactly the same phone, the same model, right? Then have someone to format the phone or wipe the phone clean, that there is no any data inside, nothing. Then give it to the person whom you actually believe that He is the same, that he's doing the same thing with you, even if it is your twin. Now, I want the both of you to use the phone independently like you normally do for a week. Then go back and check the two phones. You are going to find out that you have just coded the phone with your own power, with your own unique way that will never be the same with that same person whom you have given the second phone, even if the both of you are twin from birth. So, my dear, you are a unique and a miraculous, supernatural being. Stop doubting yourself. Stop doubting yourself and start believing yourself. The moment you start believing in yourself, you begin to see things in a fragment form, and that will propel you to do greater things, to do better things in this life than you can ever imagine. It all starts and ends with you believing in yourself and not doubting your own ability. Even the Bible says that when you ask for anything, you should believe that you have received it. It didn't say you should doubt. It said you should believe that you have received it. And also goes forth to say, even if you don't believe in the Bible to be the Word of God, but there are a lot of truth there, because Bible is a formation of ancient texts and different, philosophy that hold a lot of truth, which I like quoting from sometimes, where it says, do not be conformed to the standard of this world, but be ye transformed by a renewing of your mind. You can renew your mind without believing in yourself. If there is any skill acquisition you're trying to acquire today that is very hard, you can only conquer it, you can only ace it when you started believing in yourself. When you start believing in yourself, there is a shift, what we call identity shifting, that's going to start happening in a spiritual dimension that will help things to spin out faster the moment you start concentrating and start putting every obstacle and some sort of distraction away. You will start seeing a clear path, a solution, ideas, inspiration pouring on your head endlessly. This is something I've done a lot of times, and I'm going to tell you a story about it before I end this very episode of you stop doubting yourself, that you're causing more harm to yourself and even your future to come. All you have to do is believe, and it doesn't even cost you anything, sweetheart. It doesn't even cost you a damn coin, not even a cent, to believe. And you go on with that belief and descend on anything you want to do. And believe me when I say, you're believing that you're going to do it, anything is possible. I have told you before, and I want to tell you again, that the fact that Mr. A, B, C, D, down to Z attempted it and failed it doesn't mean that you're going to attempt it and fail it, because you have a different zeal, you have a different talent, you have a different power, you have a different vibration strength, you have a different attachment to God Himself. You have a personal encounter which is different from every other person, and how you desire that goal differs, and it's all that matters, and it's all the difference in the whole world that raises your vibration above every other person, including me talking to you right now. So believe it in your heart today when you heard me say, whatever you saw, heard, that made you think that you are incompetent, that is creating that doubtfulness in yourself. Believe me also when I say it is not fixed, it is not absolute, until you accept that you have failed, until you have accepted that you have given up. And that is why the most dangerous thing to do is to give up on your own self. You will be left with the fragments and leftovers of others, sweetheart. That is not what you want, that is not what you desire. No matter how hard the situation is, doesn't give you the room to start doubting yourself, because there is a lot of possibility that starts and opening doors, inspirations, powers of higher places that will start opening the moment you start believing in yourself. There are still more than 1 quadrillion chance, an opportunity that you have to tap from to start your journey to becoming that star, that superstar which you saw, that you admire to be, but someone casted a terrible spell of word in you by telling you that you are not gonna do it, you cannot do it, and repeated it a lot of times, and you started going to contemplate on it, meditate on it, reflecting on it. I want you to delete that out of your memory today, delete it out of your subconscious today, and activate the power of assumption in a positive way about yourself, and go ahead and do it. And you're gonna be surprised at the result you're gonna come up with. I was upon a time like you, until a situation caught up on me. This is the story of my life. I found something that is worth dying for in this life. It wasn't a love for a woman, it wasn't money, it was a talent I believed in. Against all odds, even when my mommy doesn't believe in me. I want you to understand that when even my own mommy doesn't believe in me about that very subject. I have no money to buy a simple musical instrument, a guitar. I was so obsessed with it that I went on to create one, a local one by myself. I felt like tearing down right now because it was quite a long time that my own dad even summoned the courage or even decided to even give me some money. But a certain event came up after my graduation. I needed a license in order to be able to be legally accepted to do some certain jobs. But when I traveled into the city, and I figured out that I can actually do it without having a license, but meanwhile this time my dad has actually deposited the money into my account. Since I was so obsessed with music, my obsession with music was much more than something I can ever dare to imagine to be possible in my life. I was obsessed with music to the point that I couldn't even read to ace my grade school. I was obsessed with music that I left my books to go out with musicians into different shows to listen and watch them play music. I fell in love with piano also. And even up to this very moment I'm talking to you, I don't even know how to play a piano, but something happened. That's why I said, when you so much believe in yourself, when you believe and stop doubting, the miracle happens. Something happened along the line. I was one day, this is just how nature does things. This is how God does things. When you're crazy, when you're so obsessed, when you believe in yourself and you're choosing something and you don't have the financial power or something is stopping you, do not let go of that belief. Do not let go of that thought. I was holding this thought for more than 10 years. More than 10 years after I graduated school. There is a lot of things I want to do that I started seeing them in my technical school vocations. And it was like a magic, because then my daddy couldn't even give me money for pocket money, or even my mom, they just choose not to. Now, when they choose not to, and they always complain whenever I ask of money, I developed the habit of never to ask again, but to get it. The moment I start believing, my artistic ability started getting broader when I go into technical school education, that I use it to make more money to fund myself, to get pocket money while in the secondary school. Now, the transformation which I talked about that happens is I followed musicians so much to the point that I was failing my school, my exams, but I never cared. I wasn't afraid of failing my education because I was so chiseled into music like crazy. Most of the people whom I've been following don't even know that I have so much passion for music. I kept it within myself. They can only see it. They didn't know how far I dive away from my school to be with them in a wakekeeping, in a wedding ceremonies. I was there. I packed the instrument. I make sure I find a time to practice on my own. So one day, when I traveled out into the city, like as if I've abandoned everything. I was crazy buying a lot of softwares, and the person who it was actually about programming. There is something about computer that caught my attention. It was a topic of programming language, C++. So I don't know what it is, Java and all that. This one we're talking about here is pretty much around 2008, 2007, far back then. So the guy who was selling it saw how I was busy collecting butterflies of CDs, software, and he just pitched it to me and told me that if I'm going for all this, why don't I try FL Studio? I said, what's FL Studio? He said, ability to make music in a computer. I never hesitated. I quickly bought it. Now, when I went home, guess what happens? That FL Studio becomes one of the most, in fact, the complete software, the rest are incomplete. So it kind of made me cut off ties with them and concentrated. As I'm talking to you this day, my belief about music, about myself, transformed a lot of things. It did a lot of things which is so marvelous that I'm going to tell you guys on some other videos. It made me whom I am today, that I can decide I can tell you diverse of ways I have tried to manifest anything I ever wanted. If I don't have the money that very moment, and I started practicing this, before 3 months to come, the money will come. I will find the money no matter how big it is. There are a lot of dreams I've set so much that I've accomplished. In as much as it's about money, it's about accomplishment, and it all begins from where? Me believing in myself. And I also remember a hurtful word, more like a spell, which my uncle casted on me. He told me, since you failed your grade school, that you're going to be walking from wall to wall in order to eat. I was crying and met my mommy, and my mommy told me that I've heard it, that if I believe that what he said is going to happen, then it's going to happen. But if I believe in God and believe that what he said is not going to happen, then it's up to me. The shocking story about that is I didn't graduate and I didn't go to college because I don't believe in college. After my technical school education, I made up my mind that I will never work with any job that requires certifications. And guess what? I started within that very moment to predict how my country economy is gonna be. I'm talking about right in 2007, I forecast how economy is gonna be about in 20s. And guess what, guys? It happened. Most people who were busy going to college and acquiring degrees and certifications, they were all laid off. There is no employment. There is no job. The key area which I focused became a selling point. What I even read in school didn't even work out for me any longer. That I have to work on, in fact, what I'm doing to earn a living, what I do to buy my first car was simply my act of believing in myself. My first car. It was a whole lot, guys. If I start telling you the story, so it is miraculous. When you believe in yourself, you will see a whole lot of different potentials. You see a whole lot of different miracles, a whole lot of different helping hands from the spiritual realm, from God to you. In as much as you hold the thought, I taught this, I teach you guys this on my channel. Go ahead and watch it. Vibrate upon a certain thing. I'm going to tell you more stories of different things I've done with believing in myself and vibrating on that very subject which I want to change. I always get it done in a positive way. The negative never play a dominant role in my life. What about the music things? A lot of you guys are going to be curious. I wasn't left out. I became a music producer. In fact, I manipulated my own reality the way it's gonna shock a lot of you guys, and that's gonna be a topic of another day. My hair began to grow faster than I have ever imagined. I'm gonna tell you the simple tricks, the simple techniques. It's not a trick, but it's a simple belief that I so much love out of my obsession. I'm gonna give you guys the procedures in other videos. So look out for how believing in myself transformed me. I'm gonna make sure I stay on that topic. How believing in myself transformed me, made me a million under 30s. This is a reality of my life I'm sharing with you guys, so you understand the great danger that you sit on, the kind of tip of iceberg you're sitting on each time you're doubting yourself. Had it been I let what my uncle said come to pass. I'm wishing this day that my uncle would be alive to see what I've become, because in my family, in my polygamous family that I come from, I am like a shining star. I am opening doors. I'm far ahead of many people. I'm not even among the first guys. This is true, I'm telling you. When you talk about cars, when it comes to my wedding, I wasn't even expecting any help from anybody. I never got broke after my wedding. I sponsored everything. I got the kind of wife I ever wanted, the kind of kid, beautiful kid, and all this whole thing here is what I'm going to teach you in how believing in myself transformed me. The lay down procedure step by step, how I got there is what I'm going to tell, because I just give you a brief of the story. I didn't go completely into detail. So I want you to know today that the greatest miracle, the greatest magic you can ever do in this world is believing in yourself. The greatest gift you can ever give yourself is believing in yourself. Because when you believe in yourself, you can change your destiny. You can change, you can turn back the hands of time. You can rewind the clock to wait for you. You can manipulate your reality 1,000 times. You can forecast the future. You can do all kinds of things that people will sit and say, how is that happening? Have you ever done something and sit back and start asking yourself, was I the one who actually did that? Did this thing actually came from me? Was I the person who accomplished that? When you have gotten to that point, then you understand that you are not you. You are just a messenger. And a messenger has no audacity to doubt the message that has been sent through him by God. So you are the messenger. Your role is to deliver the message. If you're a postman, you need to deliver the letter to whomever has been designated to. You don't need to question the destination. It is not your own duty. You don't need to scrutinize whoever is receiving it. It's not your own. Yours is just to pass it. So that's what it is when you believe in yourself. Congratulations on your journey to a new world, new discovery, new adventure, new self, new aspiration, opening doors. Because you have stopped believing in yourself. You have stopped doubting in yourself, and now you start believing in yourself. You see a great transformation that's going to start happening in your life right now. A lot of people are going to be wowed about it. I'll see you later.